Okay, hi guys. Today we are doing a Leetcode problem 121 called Best Time to Buy and Sell Stocks. So the question says you're given an array prices where prices is the price of a given stock on the ith day. You want to maximize your profit by choosing a single day to buy one stock and choosing a different day in the future to sell that stocks. Return the maximum profit you can achieve from this transaction. If you cannot achieve any profit, return 0. So in the question, our input is array of prices. And our output is maximum profit we can make by buying and selling the stock. Okay, so our constraint is buy has to occur before sell. So that means, like, let me show you an example. So in this case, the example, let's say we buy at 1. We cannot go back to the past and sell at 7. It has to be in the future. So once you buy at 1, it has to be on the value after 1. Okay, so I will also put optimize as my constraint. So as cases, I will just say return 0 if we can't make profit. Okay, so that means, like, if we buy at a certain day but then every day the stock keeps going down and we can't make profit, that's when we have to return 0. So in this case we need 2 pointers and one more variable. So the other variable I was thinking is max profit. So this one will change as we find profit better than 0. We'll change the max profit. If we can't find it, then we'll just return 0. So I'm going to use the 2-pointer method. So I'm going to name it sell and buy. Actually, buy and sell. Okay, so we're going to initialize buy and sell to an index of array. So let's say buy is at 0 and sell it as 1. Okay, so we can solve this problem by comparing the value of buy and sell. So we can say that if the value at index buy is bigger than value at index sell, then we want to replace the buy index to the sell index. So let's say if buy is 7 from this example, and our sell at index 1 is 1. Okay, so at that point we'll compare if 7 is smaller than 1. So what we can do, if buy value is bigger than sell value, we will replace the buy index to the sell index. So at that point, the buy index will be will be 1. But then the cell index has to be incremented, so it'll be cell plus 1. So if the buy will be 1, the cell would be 5. Okay, but if it is other way around, and if the buy value is smaller than cell value, then what we have to do is keep the buy as it is, but we need to increment the cell value. I mean the cell index. So at that point, we also want to change the value of the max profit, because if we bought the stock at the lower price than we are selling, then the max profit will be bigger than 0. So we need to change the max profit. Okay, so let's try to code this out. Okay, so we're gonna say let buy equals to 0, let sell equals to 1. So it makes sense for us to pick buy as 0 because it needs to happen first, and we'll assign sell as 1 because it can occur after the buy. Anyhow, we'll also assign max profit to 0. So in this case, it's better for us to return 0, since if we can't find anything like positive profit, then it will just return 0. So what we're gonna do is create a while loop to iterate over the array. So we're gonna say while cell is smaller than prices.length. Okay, so in this case we'll say if prices at, sorry, it has to be buy. So I would have to say buy because the buy is incrementing faster than the sell. So we need to stop as soon as the buy hits the limit. It can't go beyond the, the length of the array. Okay, so if price.sell is smaller than price.buy, so in that case we would change the buy to cell index, and once we do that, we need to also change the cell index to cell plus 1. Okay, if that's not the case, if the buy is lower than the cell, then we'll keep the buy as is, but we do have to increment the cell. And in this case, I'm also going to compare the max profit between the initial max profit 0 and also the difference between the buy and the sell. So the way we can do is we can use this shortcut. So we can reassign the max profit by doing math.max and using max profit, or so it will be sell prices sell minus prices buy. and then at the end we'll just return max profit. Okay, so let's quickly go over the code again. So we're gonna assign the buy to the index 0 for now, and sell to the index 1, and max profit to 0. So when we iterate over the prices array, we'll keep checking if the buy value is bigger or smaller than the sell value, and depending on the condition, we'll either keep the buy same as the sell, or we'll change the buy to sell value or index. And then we'll just find the max profit by comparing the profit we made so far to the max profit itself. So at the end, we'll just return the max profit. So let's run the code and see if we run into any bugs. Oops, okay, time limit exceeded. Let's see what I did wrong. Well, by... Oh, I think while sell. Okay, while sell is less than price.length. Okay, let's run the code again. Okay. Yeah, so I was saying that it has to be, so we have to do it until the cell is, so the loop will run until the cell is up to the less than price.length minus 1. Because if I were to put a buy here, the cell will like exceed the length of the array, since it is incrementing faster than the buy. That makes sense? Okay.